Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the TEC.Bean 4K action camera. This is one in a series of newer 4K action cameras that sell on Amazon for under $60, so it's fairly affordable and it competes with the likes of the GoPro. So if you're into extreme sports or if you want to create vlogs of your life and you don't really care too much about up-close macro shots and you're okay with distance landscape shots for the most part, you'll be happy with this. So the packaging here, TEC.Bean typically specializes in projectors, so this is a fairly new product for them, but you can see that it's suitable for recording in the car if you want to use it as a dashboard camera, for bikes when you're going on trips and vacations, and you can also set it up so it loops continuously and records when motion is detected inside of it. Inside the packaging there is a quick guide that tells you how to set up the Wi-Fi, which you can use to wirelessly transfer files and view back video content when you hook it up to a phone or a tablet and download the free application. It also comes with, tells you how to set up the various keys and controls, and there's also a QR code to download the app and learn more about the company. So otherwise, in this smaller compartment, we have the action camera itself, which includes a waterproof casing. We'll take a closer look at this in a second. And over here we have all the accessories, inclusive of the charging cables and the various adapters. So for instance, we have various mounting brackets for setting up on helmets and bikes and mounts. So it comes with a full set of that. There's also some tape if you need it, additional mounting brackets, straps. In addition to, on the very bottom here, we have a extra back plate for the camera in case this gets damaged, for instance. So you get a spare, which is pretty nice. And there's also a secondary battery that you get. There's one that's pre-installed in the camera. It's pretty standard, and it's a 900 milliamp hour capacity. So that's basically it. On the back, there is a longer instruction manual, also printed and documented in full color. Tells you the various features in a bit more detail and all the contents that you get in both Chinese and English. Unfortunately, this one does not come with a micro SD card in the packaging, so you have to provide your own, and it supports up to 64 gigabytes of capacity. So that's one extra that you have to purchase by yourself. Setting this off to the side and taking a look at just the camera next, a very traditional design. This camera does come in a few other colors that the company is releasing in the future, but this is just the matte black version, which is made out of the soft touch rubber material. Has a fairly wide angle lens, so you can get a larger view of your surroundings, and the case also gives you access to some quick shortcut keys corresponding to the select keys, a quick shutter key on the very top to start recording, power keys, but you don't have access to the charging port, which uses micro USB, or the micro HDMI port, which is completely sealed off. And this allows you to submerge this up into 30 meters of water, and it should still be fine. So if you are going to the beach or getting it wet, it will survive inside of this casing. And overall, it works pretty well and covers up all the essentials. So to open things up, we simply unhook the very top here and then pop open this plate. And finally, we have just the camera itself, which is actually very lightweight, and you can see that the lens is protected the first time. There's the company's logo. It is fairly grippy, so it's easy to hold, and the battery compartment, which holds the battery on the inside. And the top features the select keys. There is a mono speaker and microphone on the front. The top also features an LED indicator light, and the micro SD card slot is located on the side here. It's a plastic construction. The screen measures about 4 inches diagonally. So it's fairly spacious and covers up the most of the display, although it's not touch sensitive like most action cameras we've come to see and expect. Turning things on, we can see there are additional LED indicators on the sides here. One also tells you the charging status, so it's going to need some charge when you first power it on. You can see the display itself is fairly bright and vibrant. It shows off colors fairly well, although viewing angles aren't the strongest. It's a typical LCD and not a AMOLED panel or anything like that, but you can see that it displays information such as the time and date. You have resolution status, frames per second is also displayed on the very top, and there's also some bars that tells you the Wi-Fi connection status along with the charging status. If a card has been inserted, it goes to sleep after a few seconds, but I can tap on this again, and then it tells you also the time and date information in the bottom and the microphone status. So this again can continuously loop and erase over previously recorded content if you use that as a dashboard or a home security camera. That works pretty well, although you do need to link it up to power, such as a charger or some kind of cord that's connected to the wall if you do want to continuously record video since battery life is only rated at around 2 hours or so, and it gets a little bit shorter if you have Wi-Fi always turned on. So taking a look at some of the features here, if we just turn this on again, the field of view, you can see the colors are pretty bright, and again, this is a wide angle lens, so it stretches things, creates almost this fisheye effect. So you can see that I have a piece of paper in front of me here. It seems a lot smaller than it is to capture more of what is in one shot. Afterwards, the colors themselves are slightly brighter than they seem in real life, but that's not a bad thing. Details are still very vibrant, and of course, you can record again up to 4K, which is quite impressive. It's not, of course, as good of a 4K camera as more expensive models on the market. It really upscales the resolution to some extent, but it still works pretty well, especially if you have a lot of 4K supported products at home already, such as a monitor or a computer that supports this resolution. Then you'll be pleased to see that this camera can also record up to that super high resolution format. Otherwise, if we take a look at some of the other features, I can tap on the top here that brings up additional prompts. The side keys takes me through to select for various menus. I can tap on this again, the power key once, to bring up the camera mode, and that starts at 16 megapixels by default. And I can also again tap on this again to go through some of the additional settings. And then I can tap on this once more to go into the 720p at 90 frames per second for video recording. Tap on this again to view back any images or videos taken using the camera or inserted using micro SD cards so I can view them back directly. And then once more, that takes me into the settings. So it's pretty intuitive. In the settings here, I can go up and down to go through the camera and video selection. So for instance, things like the video resolution, the recording sound, if it's on or off, time lapse, slow motion can also be set. And I can also go and change the photo resolution up to 16 megapixels, which is fairly impressive. But again, it isn't an autofocus camera, so it's not going to be as sharp for close-up shots. Also timing, you can also set different filters if you want. Exposure, turning Wi-Fi on or off. Image rotation, driving mode, indicator lights, battery status after a few seconds. There's also settings for language, time, date, firmware, and then of course I can. So as far as the settings are concerned, it's pretty easy to get set up and understand that what's happening. And overall, the construction here is pretty good. It feels nicely put together. It's not overly cheap, despite a very low price point, and everything is pretty easy to get set up for the first time. As far as the Wi-Fi application is concerned, it basically connects to Wi-Fi, and you can connect it to a phone or tablet's Wi-Fi, and then use this your tablet as a viewfinder, so you get a larger display to see what you're shooting or recording. Maybe good if you want to attach this, I don't know, onto a drone or onto a car, and you want to have a larger view of what's in front of you. It works pretty well. As far as for nighttime shooting is concerned, not as strong. There aren't any infrared lights, so it struggles under low light conditions, but in moderate lighting, it does work extremely well. The resolution here, I would say it's still pretty comparable, to be honest, with a lot of 1080p full HD type of action cameras I've tested, especially some of the better ones. So there's not a huge difference, but the resolution is technically 4K, which is something that some folks will appreciate as more and more products become 4K compatible in the coming days. Afterwards, I'm going to give you guys a quick demo of the video quality so you guys get a better idea of what this looks like. So hopefully that sample clip gave a better impression of what the quality is actually like, and as a whole, it's pretty good as far as color saturation and balance in bright light environments. Again, this is really meant as an action camera for purposes of shooting landscape shots and really close-up shots, so on and so forth. As far as charging is concerned, it fully charges up in under 3 hours, so you can also bring the spare battery with you for longer trips, and you should be fine. You can also, of course, continuously use it when the battery is completely dead by plugging a power bank, which is a nice feature. So it draws power even without a charged battery. So overall, pretty good performance at a fairly low price point, and it is fully stacked as far as action cameras are concerned, from the 4K resolution to Wi-Fi to having a pretty spacious as well as good LCD panel on the back. The only feature that it's missing is the addition of a remote control that some of these 4K cameras have started to integrate that uses something like IR that you can have to one click to start recording or stop recording. That's an optional accessory that isn't included here, but everything else is set up and you get a ton of adapters as part of the added value proposition. So overall, pretty good job. You can check out more details about this in our official written review, but for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been the TEC.Bean 4K Action Camera.